Page 1. On Maple Hollow Road, where cool autumn winds blow, lived Gus in his wheelchair, moving steady and slow. He wasn't angry at life, just worn from the load, living quiet and alone at the end of the road. Page 2. He'd never had a pet, though the thought sometimes came. Just quiet companionship, nothing wild to tame. A dog's too much for me, he said, shaking his head. But maybe a calm little cat fits my life instead. Page 3. He entered, past case, cats blinked, shy, bold. Until one curious spark caught his heart in its hold. Page 4. That spark was Bruno, a tuxedo-trimmed sprite, eyes bright with ideas that spelled future chaos outright. He tapped Gus's wheel softly, a brave little plea, a silent, determined, "You ought to pick me." Page 5. The forms were signed quickly, the choice had been made. Bruno strutted ahead like a deal had been paid. "A simple companion," Gus said with a grin, "a little calm company, that's a good place to begin." Page 6. He bounded through hallways, a black and white blur, a streak of quick motions too fast to deter. He scaled up the curtains with agile delight, a whirlwind of tuxedo-clad trouble in flight. Page 7. "Slow down," Gus called, spinning wheels with a start, but Bruno kept darting from room to room's heart. "I picked you," Gus muttered, "because I needed calm." But Bruno just chirped like a small, joyful psalm. Page 8. Books tumbled gently, a pillow slid low. Bruno peeked from a lampshade with a mischievous glow. "This isn't what I pictured," Gus sighed in defeat. "I wanted a cat who stayed close to my seat." Page 9. When the room finally settled and the noise drifted low, Bruno patted back softly with a gentler glow. He didn't stay long, just a moment or two. Enough for Gus to wonder what this cat might do. Page 10. "No calm, no routine," Gus said with a groan. "Just you and your chaos and me on my own." Bruno chirped brightly, then dashed off in glee, a whirlwind declaring, "You're stuck with me." Page 11. They watched from the window as cars rolled the street, footsteps and bicycles tapping their beat. Bruno swished his tail, plotting mischief to try. Gus whispered, "Oh no, I can see it in your eye." Page 12. Gus tried reading a story to settle the day, but Bruno kept pouncing in his unpredictable way. Words like look, find, and near filled the air, mostly ignored by the cat everywhere. Page 13. Nothing had changed, not the pace, not the mess. But Gus felt a flicker he wouldn't confess. Not joy, not bonding, not comfort yet, just curiosity for the cat he'd met. Page 14. Bruno batted a sock, then dashed under the bed, planning new trouble in his small, clever head. Gus shook his head slowly at the noise he'd begun. "I asked for calm company, I got trouble for one." Page 15. He wheeled to the hallway and turned out the light, listening to Bruno explore through the night. No tidy solutions, no neat little bow, just a cat and a man with a long way to go. Page 16. And there on Maple Hollow Road, their story began. Not with clear answers or a well-crafted plan, but with two mismatched spirits, both stubborn and bold, taking their very first step down an unmapped road.